over the weekend, Elon Musk's SpaceX launched its Starship with a super heavy rocket and successfully recovered the rocket's first stage during an unmanned test flight. In a remarkable display of engineering, the first stage made a controlled descent to Earth and was secured back onto its launch platform by a mechanical arm. I witnessed a previous iteration of this technology when I was covering a SpaceX launch as a local reporter, and let me tell you, it is even more impressive in person. This achievement should have been an inspiring moment for all Americans, but many leftists took to social media to express outrage that a Trump supporter was responsible for the historic event. As Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance praised the technological triumph, commenters made bewildered statements, wondering how the dream of space travel had become culturally associated with Republicans. So-called progressives have built their political strategy around demonizing the very elements that make scientific progress possible. Now they're shocked to find that their opponents are seen as the champions of a brighter future. When I was young, space exploration was viewed as an inevitable part of the near future. The United States had won the space race in the 1960s, and while astronauts hadn't landed on a celestial body for over a decade, shuttle missions were common. We were landing remote rovers on Mars, and most of us assumed that manned missions to the Red Planet were well within reach. The dream of exploring the stars was also politically bipartisan. Republicans embraced the patriotism and pride attached to the achievement, while Democrats saw it as a step towards their Star Trek-inspired vision of a post-scarcity utopia. In a cruel bit of irony, as the United States solidified its position as the only global superpower, the drive to prove dominance through space exploration waned. NASA's achievements became less impressive, and the agency had clearly oversold many of its projections. Republicans began viewing the program as a bloated government expense in need of budget cuts, while Democrats saw an opportunity to redirect funding to their supporters here on Earth. NASA limped along with fewer launches and delayed major projects, and while science fiction remained part of popular culture, the idea of real-world space travel seemed to fade farther into the background. Regardless of how one feels about Elon Musk or the novelist Ayn Rand, it's hard not to see echoes of Rand's man of industry in his struggle against a system that has tried to keep him tethered to this earth. SpaceX has certainly benefited from government contracts, but it has also fought off stifling regulations and lawsuits while achieving something that government seemed incapable of. The leftist outcry that SpaceX should now be nationalized because it's proven more successful outside of government control highlights the parasitic nature of the progressive regime they've created. Musk may not fit the mold of a typical conservative, and it's doubtful that he ever sought to become a political figure, but his ambition is undeniable. He and many other leaders and entrepreneurs have realized that the dominant leftist regime will make their grand visions impossible. Progressives have embraced a politics driven entirely by graft and spite. Their policies punish success and innovation while fostering a culture of envy and entitlement. Ambition is now labeled as dangerous, and prosperity is seen as something to be collectively plundered for political gain. Democrats have transformed universities into centers of woke indoctrination, rejecting merit in favor of racial and sexual biases that favor their client classes. What began as an infection in the soft underbelly of the humanities has now spread to the hard sciences, which were supposed to be immune from this kind of corruption. Woke ideology has branded critical aspects of the scientific method as cultural imperialism and turned math into a symbol of white supremacy. Valuing the written word, prioritizing punctuality, emphasizing efficiency, and striving for perfection, all things that you know are really important for launching humans into space, are now labeled as forms of colonial oppression. While I've always personally been a big fan of science fiction and fascinated by the idea of space travel, I never truly grasped its significance as a social ambition. Earth is rife with problems that are unsolved, so why not just focus our efforts here? But I've come to understand the role that boldness and greatness play in the health of a civilization. Some cultures are perfectly capable of turning inward, but ours simply is not. Western man, or Faustian man as Oswald Spengler described him, has a deep need to discover and expand. It's all about the vastness and filling of space. In many ways, the identity of the United States was forged by its expansion and taming of the frontier. There's a reason that Westerns still echo in the psyche of young men today. Without a new frontier to explore, Western societies seem to turn inward and consume themselves. Space, as the final frontier, calls us to greatness. In the end, progressives are right about one thing. Their relentless attacks on merit, ambition, and achievement have made space exploration a domain entirely of the right. Leftist ideology is bitter and small, and it can't tolerate the concept of great individuals or natural hierarchies, which is why it fails to reach for the achievements those people make possible. We are all equal in value before God, but we are not equal in our abilities or our accomplishments. Those who strive for greatness must embody the very traits that Democrats have now demonized. It is those who are willing to sacrifice and persevere who ultimately reach the stars, escaping the stifling, suffocating, and resentful grip of leftism to realize their dreams. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click like, and if you haven't subscribed yet, now is a great time to do so. If you'd like to get these broadcasts as podcasts, make sure to subscribe to the Auron MacIntyre Show on your favorite podcast platform. And when you do, leave a rating or a review. It really helps with the algorithm magic. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, or Gab, or Substack, or Instagram, if you'd like to get these videos on Rumble or Odyssey, the links to do all of that are down below in the description. And if you'd like to pick up my book, The Total State, you can do that at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, or order it through your favorite local bookstore. And of course, you can watch all of my shows and read all of my columns over at The Blaze. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, I'll talk to you next time.